Good morning. It's 7:30 a.m. I am not a morning person, but today I am heading to Prague and I'm hoping to show you Gynem Clinic because I have a busy day planned there. I have my medical consultation scheduled. There is an additional things and bits and pieces that I have on my list. So yeah, I promise to look into every single corner, open every single door. I hope you come with me on the ride. Let's go. Prague is very well connected with most big cities in Europe. I chose a train, but a flight to Prague from anywhere in Europe is really quick. A train for me took 9 hours, but from, for example, Germany would be much quicker. I chose a hotel near Gynem, so it was in Prague 8. I asked for a quiet room, they really did deliver on that. So now let's go see the city. As I mentioned, my hotel was in Prague 8. Prague is divided into sections, which makes it quite nice to get around. Gynem is around half an hour from the airport, 10 minutes from the train station, and it was actually 5 minutes from my hotel, so it was perfect. You can get to the clinic via public transport, or you can order a taxi or an Uber. The clinic also has an option to book that for you, so you don't have to worry about getting to the clinic at the right time. And we made it! Gynem building was actually specifically designed to be a fertility clinic, which isn't that common. Often fertility clinics are within buildings that have already been established and they adjust towards what already is there. Outside there is a little garden area where if the weather is nice you can just sit and have a coffee. But let's go inside. So Gynem was founded in 2013 by a father and son duo. Both are doctors, still very active in the life of the clinic. So on the ground floor we have the treatment/recovery room, the embryology lab and the sperm sample collection room. And I'll show you all three later in the video. Now let's go upstairs. I really love the paintings and all the plants and how bright it is. That made a really good first impression on me. On the second floor, first thing you see is the balcony. During the summer, patients often sit there and wait for their appointment. And here we have the reception. More of the lovely paintings, and further down the corridor there are the consultation rooms. Here's Linda. She was so lovely, and when I got there she notified my patient coordinator and it didn't take long to have my first meeting. The reception area has a little coffee station and a children play area. I heard that they're planning to redesign the reception soon, so I'm excited to see it next year. My patient coordinator was Katerina. I can't say a bad word about her. She was so kind. She explained all the forms and necessary documents, answered all of my questions. She was there to help me all throughout the process. I learned that she does quite a lot for her patients, from booking the taxis to helping the hotels, helping to get the medication. She's very hands-on and seems to really care about her patients. So I already filled in a form and shared my test results with Gynem, and now it was the time to sign all of the informed consent forms. In my folder I also received the leaflets about free fertility testing for all and the full pricing. I really like how transparent Gynem's pricing is, so you have prices for every single add-on, every single procedure, packages, so it's really easy to calculate, and there are no hidden costs. I can really appreciate that because that's not necessarily the case with all of the clinics, and I think the pricing is also available in full on their website, or you can request it via email. And I also got a Gusta sticker. Gusta is Gynem's mascot, and I got the founders to tell us a bit more about it.
Hi, this is our Gusta. So we create Gusta to help our patients to keep a good mood and good vibe. And Gusta was created by our embryologist Adela, and she's also the painter of our paintings here. And all the paintings are about the embryos development and the cells dividing. So if you close to the paintings, you can see all the stages of the embryos.
So I admire such a Gustav. It can support patients to overcome some stress or some difficulties during treatment, if not success for the first time.
So that was Dr. Milan Mrazek and his son Martin. They were kind enough to let me stop them and ask them a few questions. So now let's go to get my blood taken. Gynem actually recommends that you come to Prague for 2 days for your initial consultation. So on the first day you would get your blood test done, your partner would leave their sperm sample, and on the second day the doctor would already have your test results and you could have more informed medical consultation. And now if you don't like the sight of needles or the sight of blood, you may want to skip or look away. But I can tell you it did not hurt and it was really, really fast. Gynem actually has free fertility testing for anybody, so if you are in Prague and would like to get your blood test, ultrasound, and have your partner test their sperm, you can do it at Gynem with no strings attached. I believe that's really useful. We should all be testing our fertility as early as possible to know and be able to plan our future and make more informed decisions. The tests I was having done were AMH levels, full thyroid check, and of course fertility hormones. Okay, yeah, that was perfect. Thank you so much. So let's see what happens on the male side of the testing. So this is the sperm sample collection room. Once the sample is ready, he will put it in this window and let's see what's on the other side. So now I'm on the other side through in the embryology lab. Once the bell rings, the embryologist opens this window. Of course, they don't see the person on the other side anymore, and the sample makes it to the embryology lab right away. So as you can see, you have Wi-Fi here, videos, magazines. You can also bring your partner with you if that would make it easier. All in all, it was a very cozy room. I appreciate that it has a window, so it's quite bright, which I think makes it more comfortable. So if we're lucky, we may be able to see the embryology lab. Are we ready?
We are ready.
I needed to fully dress up to be able to enter the lab. The conditions there need to be very safe. And the first thing, we have the cryopreservation room where you can actually see an embryologist putting the sample in. The samples are stored frozen in liquid nitrogen tanks, so they're kept at almost minus 200 degrees. It makes sure that they are safe and sound and ready for you to use at a further date. Now let's move to the room where the magic happens. So this is the main room where all the equipment is. So the first thing that we have here is the incubator where your embryos are developing. Here is the workstation where they're safely being worked on by the embryologist while keeping and maintaining the conditions they need to have. We also have another incubator here and 24/7 time-lapse embryo monitoring system. It's an add-on, but it means that your embryos can be monitored without disturbance. And of course, the microscopes. They are used for sperm selection, ICSI, assisted hatching, and embryo biopsies. And on the right side, there is a window where the embryos are being passed to the surgery or the eggs are being passed to the lab. Now let's talk to the head embryologist, Tomáš Rieger. So what's your favorite part of the day?
My favorite part of the day is the getting in the lab, because when we meet, I'm trying to have in a lab really nice community, nice group of embryologists, because I believe when the mood in the lab is nice, the embryos are really growing better. So what I really like to do is, like, when I came to the lab, that I wanna cheer them and ask about their days, what they did yesterday and stuff. And maybe this is the best part from my day.
How many are there of you?
We have 7 other embryologists there, but not everyone has full week schedules.
Our conversation carried on for a while. Tomáš really cares about his team, as well as making sure that embryologists are actively involved in the treatment process. But now let's move to my medical consultation. My doctor was Dr. Radek Čábela, and this is the consultation room / the testing room. There are 3 of those in Gynem, each with a different color scheme, but they all look basically the same. My consultation started with reviewing all of the results and the history that I have sent beforehand, and we walked through everything that has happened, everything that I am planning, and all of my health concerns. Dr. Radek has experience working with more advanced cases, such as working with women with endometriosis, which was really reassuring for me personally. It was very informative. I learned quite a lot in terms of how my endometriosis could potentially affect the treatment. And once we were done with this part of the consultation, it was time to get undressed and have my physical exam. The changing room gives you some privacy, and I appreciate the little pink skirts, which make it a little bit more comfortable to walk out. First part was a pelvic exam. Dr. Radek asked explicitly before performing any examination, which I really appreciate. Next, we move on to the ultrasound, and as you can see here, I didn't empty my bladder before, completely forgot, but it's not a big deal. I went to empty my bladder and we started over, and here you can actually see through, and my bladder isn't covering majority of the view. So now we're going for an acupuncture appointment. I am excited but also scared. I don't really like needles, so I guess we're gonna find out how it's going to be. So after my medical consultation and all the testing, I decided to go through with acupuncture appointment to see how it actually works. And I was able to learn quite a lot from Dr. Lucia Zahradnikova. She was the one performing the acupuncture appointment for me, and she showed me which are the most common places on your body that are connected with a fertility treatment and can potentially increase the success. It was surprisingly relaxing. You can have acupuncture before your transfer, after your transfer. You can even have acupuncture to prepare for delivery. All of them would focus on different parts on your body, and you can even have it purely to focus on stress, back pain. So while you're having your fertility treatment, you can have acupuncture for different reasons, not necessarily fertility related, but for example, to relieve the stress. Gynem also offers psychological support additionally to the acupuncture to focus more on holistic approach. So now let's see the surgery room. First, there is the recovery room. This is where my acupuncture appointment was, but this is also where you would stay right after your transfer or right after your egg collection. And here is where the magic happens, so where your egg collection or transfer would take place. I also think it's worth noting that Gynem is a patient-centered care certified clinic, which means that they focus on providing the highest quality of patient care possible, which is something I got to see and experience myself here. Gusta's coming home with me. I do really like the idea of having a mascot and overall Gynem's social media presence, the branding, the paintings inside of the clinic. It feels very well thought through, and I think it makes them feel more human and makes you able to see the people behind the clinic. As for the clinic itself, I believe that you can feel that this is a family-owned clinic as soon as you walk in. Everybody is very kind and caring and makes you feel safe as soon as you're there. I feel like they also put a lot of effort into collaborating all together on your case, which I believe makes a difference. You also get to feel that friendly atmosphere when you're there, and I think they put a lot of effort into making you feel like the part of the family, which feels really nice, and it doesn't take from the fact that they are still professional and very strong medically. I think those two things can coexist, and they do a really good job coexisting in Gynem. As for the treatment itself, all the treatment options are available at Gynem, as well as advanced embryology. So whatever you're looking for, you should be able to find there. They're also a holistic approach clinic. So as you could see, they offer acupuncture, but they also have hypnosis or psychological consultations available on site. If this resonates with you, I believe Gynem will be a great choice. They're strong medically, they have great patient care, and they give that family-like and holistic vibe. So I hope you enjoyed the tour as much as I did. Make sure to join me for the next episode, and also follow me at Behind IVF Clinic Doors on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. I'll see you soon.